Hi guys. Um, well, as you can see, I'm getting my ducks in a row. Uh, Spent the day refining that sort of the mess that I'd laid in here with a number of dark lines. I was up quite late last night, and I said that I wanted to sift through some photographs, maybe have a look at some photographs. And I didn't. I just had an idea. And I thought, okay, that's what I want to do. So I did it. Scratched it in charcoal, very roughly, and then went in with my dark lines. Again, quite roughly. Quite impromptu. And impromptu is often what gives you some of your best work because you're unafraid. You just want some music going on. You want some flow to the painting, but of course you have to have a bit of a vision for what you want ultimately. So that happened. Very happy with what went on with that. And this morning I came up and then was able to, again, in the next step, improve that drawing. So yeah, some trees became thicker, some became thinner, some changed their shape a little bit. Did the line drawing again. I've ignored this completely, obviously, so far. And thought, okay, once I was pretty satisfied with where all the various shapes and objects were going to be, composition-wise, I blocked them in. I have two small evergreens here. This I don't think I want as another evergreen. I think I'm going to make that into some ground cover. A low bush of some sort. So I'll change the shape a little bit to make it not be too similar to these two. But I like the evergreens, I like the length of this trunk. Okay, I won't go on about that stuff. So, okay. So what I did was this line back here of these distant trees needed a little bit of refining. Not a lot. I got pretty lucky with laying in my line right off the bat last night. And so I needed to change a few things, not too much. It was a little bit monotonous in some of its, jaggedness. I wanted to avoid that sawtooth effect. I've seen so many times on paintings where it's almost as though the painter it looked as though the painter thought, okay, there's a whole bunch of trees in the distance. They're all evergreens. They're more or less triangles at the top at least. So I don't know what to do with them, and that's what a lot of paintings will look that, so will look that way. So I wanted to avoid that. I did not want that sort of monotonous up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. We need some trees that are closer, more important in shape, and of course this is within our greatest area of interest. So this had to be quite important. These become closer; those are a little further away. So you change, the sharpness of a spire sometimes, and sometimes it's more squat, and sometimes because it's further away, or maybe there is the evergreens are interspersed with some other types of trees, you'll have a flat spot, like this is a bit rounded, this is a bit rounded too. It's pushed it back a little bit. So some things become more important, some things become less important. You need to do that. You don't want to just go zigzag, 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 zigzag. Anyway, that's why I needed to spend some time doing this line. It actually took a fair bit of time to bring it to the point that I was happy. Anyway, after that was in good shape, I also designed these rocks a little more crisply, a little more clearly. They needed a few more lines just to qualify what's forward, what's backward, and what the shapes will ultimately be. I washed in these trees with cobalt blue, burnt sienna. These rocks will likely just get washed in with straight raw umber. The paint that I used for the outlining was ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. And I used that same color, but thinned off a little more with turpentine to fill in these bushy areas. There'll be a bit of a silhouette, right, against these distant trees. On the trunks, I've had great success with using ultramarine blue and alizarin crimson to wash them in. Now, my brush was already contaminated with some burnt sienna, so they've become quite brown. That's fine. It's just the wash in. The disadvantage of the mixture of alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue is that it takes quite a while to dry. Even though it's thinned off with turpentine, it'll take quite a while to dry. Not worried about it. I don't need to, I'm not going to be painting these trunks for a few days, so it's not an issue. I guess that's about it. You know, I didn't want this trunk just running off the top, so I put a cap on it, a little bit of foliage breaking the trunk here. This very strong one I felt needed a break, so I put a little foliage there as well, a little bough, a little branch coming off of it. You know, there's a tree off to the left. One of the branches are sticking into the side of the painting. It's good to break up this space. Excuse me. Oh, and David Mercer, if you're out there, I even put in a little tree stump here, just for you. So, I'm just going to keep playing with that. I'm going to wash in these rocks, and I'm probably going to wash in the water as well. I think that I am not going to wash in the sky. I'm just going to paint directly over this vibrant, what is a mix of yellow ochre and burnt sienna. And if specks of it show through between my brush strokes, I'm good with that. Keeps things interesting, you know. It kind of unifies the sky, and it gives it a little bit of sparkle here and there. If that's the way it goes. If it doesn't, fine. Either way, it's fine. What I would like to do is have this guy be, I think, quite warm. These rocks will be warm. I think in general it will be a much warmer painting than the last one was. Yeah, I'm sure it will, actually. So we'll see where it goes from here, but this is it so far. Just a quick video, just to catch you up on what's going on. See you soon. Peace, man.